Hello everyone, welcome again to the YouTube channel where you will master cloud and FinOps. So before we start, please hit the bell icon and subscribe the YouTube channel so you will get the notifications and updates about my all upcoming videos. So this is the first video I have recorded for AWS Learning Series, and going forward, I will keep updating or keep uploading the new videos on other topics. So today we are going to talk about AWS Global Infrastructure. So AWS launched cloud computing services in 2006, and since then they are adding multiple services on a year-on-year basis so that their customers get benefited out of it. AWS providing these services and solutions to their end customers while leveraging their global infrastructure, which is nothing but a composition of AWS regions, availability zones, and edge locations, which are hosted across the different geographies. So, as on December 2024, AWS is having overall 34 regions, 188 availability zones, and 600 plus POP locations or edge locations for caching services. So before we start discussing these topics, let me show you one of the web page which AWS is having or providing to their end customers uh, for the details related to these numbers which we just talked about. So on this web page URL, you can refer it at the top of the screen. As soon as you will browse this page, you will get the latest numbers with respect to regions, availability zones, and CloudFront POP locations or edge locations. Similarly, on this page, you can see the updates related to the new launches of availability zones or regions. So whenever AWS announce any new region or availability zones or edge locations, they usually put the updates on this portal, so end customers will be also aware of that update. So I would request you to please keep this link in your bookmarks. So whenever you need, you can get the real-time data around these numbers. So now coming back to our topic on these three different concepts, let me start it with region. So AWS region, you can refer it as a logical component, which is the presentation or representation of geographical area. It could be anything across Europe, America, or Asia Pacific region. So for now, region is logical component that you need to remember. Now the second attribute is availability zone. So availability zone is physical component unlike region. So it is moreover representing the data center. So the key difference between region and availability zone is region is a logical component presenting the geographical area, but availability zone is a physical component. To be precise, it is representing the physical data center. Now, when we talk about AWS availability zone, it is representing the physical data centers, which is independent from other availability zone or other data centers in terms of power, in terms of networking, in terms of air conditioning or facility management services, so that if one availability zone will goes down because of any reason, other availability zone will not get impacted. So you can imagine that as AWS is hosting different availability zones, or to be precise, as on date, 108 availability zones across the geographies, and these all 108 availability zones are independent from each other in terms of power or networking or you can say the air conditioning. So in this way, AWS is providing reliable services to their end customers. Now, third service is moreover the caching service, which is edge location. So AWS use the edge location to cache the data and serve that data to the end users whenever end user need it. The first request will go to the actual data centers. It will bring the response, give it to end users, and then edge location will cache the response or same response. Later, if any end user or same set of users is asking the similar data sets, edge location can serve that particular request. So we will discuss this topic or CloudFront in detail in a forthcoming video. But for now, you need to understand edge location is also the part of AWS Global Infrastructure, and it is predominantly providing the caching services. So now if we talk about the architecture under AWS region, there will be multiple availability zones. So minimum count, whereas I see it should be two. So any AWS region should have minimum two availability zone, or it could be more as well. But minimum two are must. So now one beauty or one additional feature which AWS is providing to their customer is the randomization of availability zone. So what AWS does is like AWS randomize this availability zone based on the end user accounts. So in my account, if I am seeing one particular data center in North Virginia region as availability zone A under Cloud Console or AWS Console, you might be seeing as the same data center as a B, and you will never be aware of this fact. So for you under the console, you will say three available. You will see three availabilities on A, B, and C. I am also seeing it, but in backend, my availability zone A will be a different data center than yours one. So this is we called as AWS randomization of availability zone. So I will explain this why AWS does this and how this is beneficial. But you also put your views and in the your views and opinion in the comment section that if you heard this feature previously before this video or before one you will watch this video, whether you are aware of this feature. So now the answer to this particular question, that why AWS randomized the availability zone. So if I log into my AWS console, usually there will be a tendency that I will select first availability zone from the drop down. So under drop down, you will see multiple availability zone sequence number one, two, three. So human tendency is like for most of the time they select first one, right? So because of that, what will happen? Always the availability zone A will be too occupied, and it will face the capacity issue. So after randomization, I am selecting availability zone A even, but it will be a different data centers than yours one. So ultimately, even if user accidentally selecting the first availability zone in the list, which is populating in the cloud console, actually the same data center will not get over occupied or overutilized because AWS already randomized it. And it is in the backend. End user is not aware like which data center actually they are selecting it. They are just selecting A, B, or C, or maybe D. So that is the advantage of availability zone randomization, that even after end user selection of same and availability zone again and again, AWS is safeguarding their data centers from the, I would say, from the over occupancy. So I hope you will see this feature as well benefit, one of the benefit of AWS service offering. And this is the evidence that how AWS is safeguarding their customers while ensuring the availability, reliability, and performance. So these all features I wanted to talk about via this video. I hope you understood these concepts. Even if you are new to cloud, it is basic services or basic components of AWS service offering. And I hope you understood this well. In case if you have any query, please put it in the comment section. And do not forget to share this video with your colleagues and friends who also want to learn AWS, and subscribe the YouTube channel so you will also get the benefits of my upcoming videos. Till the time, stay tuned and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye. Take care.